Marie voiced the question that hung heavy in the air, and all eyes turned to her. She contemplated the situation, suggesting that Soren might return and attempt to feign normalcy. Jeannie agreed, speculating that he might try to catch them off guard. I questioned the logic behind pretending, given his formidable, monstrous form. John, surprisingly insightful, explained the concept of animal instinct, drawing a parallel to predators picking off the weak and stragglers. It struck me as the smartest thing I'd ever heard him say. Trey, concerned about our safety, inquired if anyone had brought a gun. Shockingly, Marie raised her hand, justifying her preparedness for the uncertainties of the woods. Trey proposed having someone armed keep watch at all times, and Marie hesitated before offering her snub-nosed .38 pistol. Trey, ensuring it was loaded, suggested taking turns keeping watch while the rest packed up. The urgency of the situation hit home when Trey emphasized the need to leave promptly, considering the potential danger posed by Soren. However, I pointed out the obstacle of not knowing our location, directing a pointed glare at John. Ignoring John's lack of direction, we focused on packing up the camp. Trey, vigilant, observed as we readied ourselves. Soren's untouched tent stood as a somber reminder of the unsettling events. A discussion arose about taking Soren's belongings, but Jeannie dismissed the idea, stating he wouldn't need them anymore. With a quick lunch and the fire extinguished, we began our journey home, though an unsettling feeling lingered. As we set out in the early afternoon, John led the way, with the hope that he could somehow remember the path. 3 hours later, the evident confusion in John's eyes prompted us to switch leadership to Trey. Examining the map, Trey estimated a day's walk to the trailhead. John's snort was dismissed as we contemplated a bathroom break. However, when Trey inquired about Jeannie's whereabouts, she was nowhere to be found. Frantically searching, I hoped she had merely fallen behind, but she was gone. The forest fell silent, and I drew the attention of the others to the source of our disturbance. We shared a collective realization. Soren was on the prowl again, targeting the weakest among us, as John astutely noted. Defending Jeannie's humanity, I growled at John's analogy, only to receive a hasty backpedal from him. Amidst the tension, Marie voiced the concern of our exposed vulnerability, aware that Soren could spot us easily. Trey, hesitant to leave without confirming Jeannie's safety, decided to backtrack with John. Handing Marie the gun for precaution, he emphasized maintaining a low profile. While we waited anxiously, the forest sounds kept us on edge. The rustling of the woods intensified, signaling a sizable presence. Clutching the gun, Marie and I tensed, hoping to evade detection. However, the creature revealed itself. A bear. Relief washed over us momentarily, only to be replaced by a different kind of dread. It was a bear, and the realization dawned on us that bears were also formidable threats. The bear approached, sniffing the air, forcing us to remain motionless. Marie, trembling, raised the gun cautiously. An unintended shot rang out, startling us and the bear. Panic ensued, but the bear, disturbed, fled rather than retaliating. As we recovered from the encounter, Trey returned, seeking reassurance about our well-being. I recounted the bear incident, criticizing Marie's approach. John, joining us, seemed physically taxed from the search. Trey teased him about the lack of Jim in his life. Abruptly, the creature appeared behind John, unleashing a vicious attack, slashing his throat. Time slowed, and the horrifying scene unfolded. Marie, in shock, fired shots, hitting both the creature and John. The agonizing moment when John realized Marie was the shooter lingered in the air. As the dust settled, the creature vanished, leaving behind a devastated Marie and John's bloodstains. I approached Marie, realizing that words could not bring comfort. The reality struck hard. Half our group was gone, and we were the survivors, hunted one by one. Soren, alive and merciless, was a threat to all of us. Shaking uncontrollably, I found solace in Trey's embrace. We turned our gaze to Marie. Lying on the forest floor, her world shattered. Desperation hung heavy in the air, and I couldn't fathom the horror that unfolded before us. Amidst the grief, Marie's eyes focused on the gun. Reacting too late, she attempted to end her misery, the gun clicking on spent rounds. Desperation echoed through the forest, marking the profound tragedy of our survival. In a fit of frustration, Marie threw the useless gun aside. Marching determinedly toward the last known location of John and Soren, Trey questioned her course of action, to which she declared her intent to find and kill the creature with her bare hands. Despite the apparent recklessness of the plan, Trey and I had no alternative but to follow her lead, understanding that our fate might already be sealed. Pressed by Trey on how she intended to locate the creature, Marie pointed silently at the ground, revealing a trail of blood. The aftermath of John's brutal encounter. Driven by a vengeful determination, we pursued Marie, justifying our dangerous pursuit with the realization that the creature would inevitably hunt us down. After a short distance, the blood trail waned, but our discovery of a cave shifted our focus. Positioned 50 yards away, we crouched, attempting to remain inconspicuous. Trey inquired about our next move, and Marie, wielding a fallen branch as a makeshift weapon, expressed her intention to confront and kill the creature. Armed with similar improvised clubs, we cautiously entered the cave. Contrary to expectations, the cave wasn't shrouded in darkness, revealing rough rock formations and ample space. As we progressed, the cave's illumination increased, culminating in the discovery of a roaring fire. Strips of meat hung over the flames, undoubtedly sourced from a grisly pile of stripped bones, prominently featuring human remains. Beside the macabre display lay two bodies, one unmistakably John, and the other obscured by blood and gore, likely Jeannie. Witnessing our friend's fate fueled a transformative rage within me, erasing fear and replacing it with a determined resolve. I was ready to fight to my last breath to prevent this creature from claiming more lives. In the midst of our grim discovery, a footstep behind us went unnoticed until Trey vanished in a blur of fur. The creature had ambushed us, swiftly dispatching Trey. Shocked and grieving, I watched my friend's lifeless body hit the ground. Marie, screaming in anguish, attacked the creature with her club, only to be effortlessly thrown against the cave wall. Overwhelmed by a surge of anger, I charged, attempting to strike the creature. However, it effortlessly caught my club, shattered it, and confronted me, its menacing grin basking in the aftermath of our futile resistance. And then an unthinkable transformation began. The fur receded, revealing more and more pink skin until a naked human stood in place of the monstrous creature. To my shock, it was Jeannie, her grin still as taunting as before. Struggling to comprehend, I managed to stammer, "Why?" In response, she snorted, her disdain echoing her former beastly form. "You would have the audacity to ask me that," she retorted. "Do you still not understand?" I attempted to defend our friendship, stating, "Our friends." "No, you're friends." I was always the odd one out, the last one called the outcast, the laughingstock. I argued that we had included her in everything, but she questioned the sincerity of our actions. The revelation unfolded that she never wanted friends who merely used her as a take-along, an excuse. Desperate for an explanation, I asked about Soren. She nonchalantly kicked his lifeless body, revealing he saw me transform. "I was just going to give you all a fright you'd never forget." But then, once he saw me, I had no choice. Appalled, I questioned her motive for killing him. She clarified, "You don't understand. This has been passed through generations in my family. It is always regarded as a secret honor of the highest level. No one can know about it. Those unlike us would stop at nothing to hunt us down and destroy us." I condemned her actions, declaring she deserved the consequences. In response, she began transforming again, her face turning from triumph to terror as Soren thrust a piece of broken bone through her chest. Her transformation became chaotic, her features shifting erratically as Marie joined the fray, violently attacking her with a club. Despite Jeannie's resistance, Marie relentlessly stabbed her, each blow thwarting the transformation. In a final desperate act, Jeannie gripped Marie's neck, twisting it until her body went limp. Witnessing the horror, I found renewed strength. Joining the fight with a club, I battered Jeannie's face until it was unrecognizable, the hair on her body fading as her life ebbed away. Exhausted, I collapsed on the cave floor and darkness claimed me. When I woke, the cave was shrouded in darkness, with only a few glowing embers remaining. My flashlight revealed the lifeless bodies of my friends. Contemplating the senseless tragedy, I pondered Jeannie's secret, realizing that perhaps I might have kept such a burden hidden as well. Exiting the cave, I was greeted by the rising sun, indifferent to the anguish within. Survival felt hollow, and I followed the sun out of the forest, confronting the trail leading to our cars. Seated in my car, I grappled with the weight of telling the families about the fate of their loved ones, haunted by the realization that letting John lead us had been a fatal mistake. Thank you for listening to another story by True Chills. Join us again next time and have a great day.